Focus and priorities. Peter Taylor. Hi. Look, we're all busy people. We've all got an awful lot of things to do, and right this minute, people are thinking of things that they'd like you to get involved in. Your managers are thinking about things they'd like you to get involved in. Emails are coming in, phone calls are coming in. Our to-do list grows on a minute-by-minute basis. And one of the challenges we have is to consider what it is we should be focusing on and what are our actual priorities. Now, priorities is a really interesting word because the original meaning of priority means the one thing more important than everything else. But somehow, during the last century, I think, this meaning evolved to a point where we can now have multiple priorities. We talk about that all the time. What are our priorities? We don't talk about what is our priority. Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, very famous book, a very famous writer, said the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. And I want to share with you one simple technique that I have found useful in the work that I've done and I've shared with a number of people. And hopefully you might like it as well. It might help you out. So let's have a look at it. If you think about your list of things to do, this is a simple chart that I use. You have a description of the task, and then if you think about how these tasks came about, typically the very first view that you will have of them is in some sort of time sequence. When was this task given to you? When was it due? How old is it? That's kind of typically the first ranking. Now here's an example of to-do list for me. I've only got 5 on here. Typically there's an awful lot more. But so first thing is, arrange the next team event. It's overdue and it's the oldest. So therefore it is currently ranked at number 1. I've also got to reschedule a meeting with a supplier. That's at number 2. I've got to post the latest blog on a project site, which is number 3. I've got to review the notes for a steering meeting. That's number 4. Just haven't got around to that yet. And I've got to respond to requests to speak at an event, which is always nice. That's number 5. But my first sequence of importance, if you like, is age rank. So the arranging the next team meeting, it is the oldest, it is overdue, and therefore it's number 1. The request to speak at an event has only just come in, so that's number 5. So this is one way at looking at my priorities. But actually, if we think about how important, this is the first thing, how important are these things? Well, arrange the next team event. It's overdue and it is important. We want to keep the team happy, and therefore I've given that a score of 8. Now I'm scoring out of 10. You can use any scale that you like, but I'm using out of 10, and obviously 10 is of the highest importance in this case. So arrange the next team event, overdue, I'm giving it an 8. Reschedule the meeting with the supplier. Well, okay, it's a supplier, it's important, but it's kind of midpoint, so I'm giving it out of 5. Post the latest blog on the project site. It's not as important as anything else, so I'm scoring that just under midway of giving that a 4. Reviewing the notes for a steering meeting. Well, nobody likes to go into a steering meeting in the world of project management without being prepared. Nobody likes to go into any meeting without being prepared. So that's pretty important. I'm giving it a 9. And respond to speak at an event. Well, it's kind of what I do, so I need to ensure I follow that. So I'm giving that an 8 as well. So based on the importance, we have a ranking where the most important one is reviewing the notes for the steering meeting. In equal second place is the team event, which is overdue, and request to speak. And then you've got the meeting with the supplier, and then you've got the blog post. So now we have a new ranking, as you can see. But it's not just about importance. Think about impact. What happens if you don't do this? This is a second dimension, if you like. So I'm looking at the impact now. Same sort of scoring out of 10. Now the impact of not arranging the next team event is not going to be good because it is overdue already. I'm behind on this one for sure, and it will have consequences. So again, I'm scoring at an 8. Rescheduling the meeting with supplier. Well, it's important to keep in touch with suppliers, but I'm still putting that as a kind of a midpoint at 5. The latest blog on the project site, giving that a 5 as well. Reviewing the notes for steering meeting, well, slightly less than a 10 or a 9. I'm giving it an 8. I mean, we've all been in meetings where we've winged it to a degree, but it's not great. So really, the impact of not doing that can be quite significant. And the respond to request for speaking event. Well, the impact is not so high. I mean, it might be it's an event that's a long way away, possibly. I might not win it anyway, who knows? But I'm giving it a 3, a fairly low score. But it brings about yet another ranking here. And you can see that in first equal position now is the reviewing the notes for steering meeting and arranging the next team event. In joint third place is the supplier meeting and the blog site, and number 5 on this kind of impact ranking is the request to speak at an event. So we have another view of the importance, if you like. But this is where the magic happens. If you take that importance ranking we already did, and you take the impact ranking which we just did, and you multiply the two out, then you get a composite score. And this is balancing two factors, two elements, if you like, to bring about what should be a true priority sequence, a true ranking. So let's go through them. Team event, high importance, high impact, and an 8 gave a score of 64. Rescheduling the meeting with supplier, 5 and 5, midpoints both ways, gives a score of 25. Blog post, pretty low importance, pretty low impact, 20. Notes for steering meeting, high importance, pretty high impact, give it 72, and responding to speak an event. It's kind of high importance, but impact is slightly lower on that one, so 24. So here we have a very, what I call sort of a very balanced ranking. Certainly in first position, we can see it's reviewing the notes for a steering meeting. We want to get that right. The team event was important as well, comes in number 2. Supplier, interesting, came out at number 3. It was, it wasn't high importance, it wasn't high impact, but the combinations put it into that 3rd position. Request to speak into number 4, and the blog post is number 5. So now I have a very, as I said, very balanced view of what I should be focusing on. So at this point, you might want to pause and just think about it. Look, that's my ranking. That's my balanced ranking of combination of importance and impact. What can we do about it? If you like, pause the video at this point, have a discussion, think about it, come up with some ideas, and see what you think are ways that you could creatively deal with this new priority ranking. Okay, well, here's some ideas that I would come up with. I think very clearly we could see there are 2 groupings of the ranked activities. There's 2 high ones and 3 low ones based on this combined score of importance and impact. So one idea would be, potential actions could be that you could delegate some of the low ones to someone else in the team. I mean, who would enjoy the exposure? I'm using my examples here. Who would enjoy the exposure of writing the project blog, for example? Is there someone else on the team who might be a good presenter who could speak at the event for you, or perhaps with your assistants, or in partnership with you? Kind of being creative and looking at those low ones, but on the high ones, maybe we could also seek some support here. I mean, could someone review the steering meeting notes for you? An objective view is often helps. What about the next team event? It's overdue, it seems. So why not find someone else who might enjoy putting such an event together, perhaps with a lower level involvement from yourself? Once you've got this kind of balanced view on your priorities, you can think about what you want to do with them. I mean, the idea is obviously you put your efforts where the most important ones are, truly the important ones. But you don't forget everything. So you kind of have to balance out all of the other actions as well. But yeah, the idea is prioritize them in the right way, focus in the right way, and get help where you need it. It could be your turn now if you like. Have a go at it. That's the basic simple chart that you can use. Maybe jot down 5 or more of your current things on your to-do list and see if this in any way changes the sequence you think that you should be working on, the priorities that you should have. Give it a go, and hopefully in some way this very simple tool has been useful to you. Thank you.